Hello Aibo. In this video I'm going to give you feedback to last week's summary. Now this is the last time I'm giving feedback to a summary because from next week we're going to focus our attention on the evidence paragraph. Okay, so let's begin. In this video, here we want to include the title of the video, remember? That's what we do. The speaker, you don't need to say that he is a very famous entrepreneur. You could just say, here you could just say, in this video title, entrepreneur and founder of Amazon Jeff Bezos argues that, right? You don't need this verb here. Just entrepreneur and founder of Amazon Jeff Bezos argues that blah blah blah. So here the video is made up of parts of different speeches. We don't need to know that. We are summarizing the main ideas. These are details we do not need to know. It makes the first sentence very kind of wordy. And if we go to the rubric, and for the exam I would recommend always go to the rubric, you will see that there is a bullet point about the main idea, and it says it should be stated argumentatively and concisely. So you want to save the words, plus you want to save some words for later, right? Because it's only 200 words and you have to go through a lot. I mean, you have to cover a lot of ground. There's 8 different pieces of advice given. So the first sentence should be less wordy, more concise, and also argumentative. Now to make that argumentative, you could just say entrepreneur and founder, you can just say founder of Amazon Jeff Bezos argues that. What does he argue? Now this video is very descriptive, but you should still try and force yourself to phrase the first sentence as an argument, because that's what the rubric expects you to do. So argues that what? In order to succeed in entrepreneurship, future business owners need to follow certain rules or something like that, right? Or argues that the advice he shares with future entrepreneurs is very important for their business success, something like that. It should be expressed as much as you can in the form of an argument. Okay. Firstly, secondly, thirdly, you've decided to, after that, okay, no problem. Then after that, also, finally, yeah. That's how you've structured the whole paragraph. That's a clear sequence, so that's good. Firstly, it talks about the time management, and suggests to not get overscheduled and have a little freedom in daily schedule, sure. Secondly, he says, here the reporting verb should be a little bit more expressive. Says is just very plain. He states, I don't know, there's all kinds of reporting verbs you can use here, that it is essential to find your passion, in which area you're good and you enjoy. It's essential to find your passion, the area in which you're good, right? Which is the area in which you're good, because here the syntax doesn't work. The word order is just not grammatical here. You need to find your passion, comma, the area in which you are good and which you enjoy the most. That's what you would say. Thirdly, he tells us, so you see, he talks about here, he tells us, these are all very plain reporting verbs. We want to use something more about, he says, you want to use something more sophisticated. Mentions something more sophisticated. He states, he urges us, right? He advises future entrepreneurs, like that. Okay, so work on the reporting verbs. Thirdly, it tells us to be inventive. Now here, if you have only two adjectives, you usually don't separate them with a comma. We usually use and. If it's three adjectives, then yes, you can use a comma between the first and the second one. But the last one should be usually prefaced by an and. It tells us to be inventive and resourceful. Then he narrates about his dream and the importance of dreaming. Here you need an article. And the importance of dreaming. Now he narrates about his dream. Sounds like he's telling the audience what he dreamt last night. I think you should just focus mainly on the idea of the importance of having a dream when in business. And again, there's all kinds of dreams. In order to specify what dream he's talking about, you probably want to say something like, you want to set out a context, which is the business context, the context of setting up a company. So Bezos advises those who want to set up a company to dream big. And then we realize what that means. To dream big means to have big ambitions for the business, right? Like a big business plan. Because really it could be any dream here. So you want to make it a little bit more precise, more specific. Give it context. When you say he advises future business owners, then we know what kind of a dream we're talking about. After that, now usually we use the surname, not the first name, because that makes it sound like he's your friend when you say Jeff. Like Jeff is your buddy, you know him personally. Bezos asserts that it is better to be proud of your choice of how you use your natural gifts, rather than to be proud of the gifts themselves. Themselves doesn't exist. Themselves, right? So just look at the spelling. It's better to be proud of your choice of how you use your natural gifts rather than, oh, okay, fine. Yeah, he's saying basically, be prepared to work very hard. Don't be proud of the gifts. Be proud of the hard work that you put in to accomplish your dreams based on your gifts. Something like that. But I think you've expressed it more or less clearly here. Also, he told, remember we use the present tense. Again, very simple reporting verb. Use a more sophisticated, more expressive, more meaningful one. That everyone has to start from something small, from the first steps. Again, in business, right? We want to keep making the context very clear. When you start a company, start small. And then let the company develop naturally, expand naturally over time. So you could say something like that. Right? So make this a bit more precise. Because everyone has to start from something small. That could be anything. Everyone is just anybody on the planet has to start from something. See, this is very vague language. We're talking about when you start a company. First, you should start small. And then let the company expand naturally over time. When you start small, it's more manageable. That was the idea. You don't want to start from something big which you're not capable of managing, right? It's all about business. It's all about success in management, in setting up a company, right? In being an entrepreneur, as you say here. Finally, he mentions, again, present tense, that an entrepreneur has to delight the customer. Delight is a little bit funny here. You're probably just looking for a synonym. Satisfy the customer is what he said. Customer satisfaction, you could just make a noun out of it because that's a term. So an entrepreneur should focus mainly on customer satisfaction and have a big vision. Okay, that's fine. Or, in other words, to have bigger ambitions And even if you could, okay, this sentence just goes on forever. Again, we want to make it a little bit more concise. So, future business entrepreneurs or an entrepreneur, you said it okay here, should focus on customer satisfaction or providing a good product for their customer. Full stop, that's it. You don't need to say anything more. To have bigger ambitions, and even if you couldn't achieve your aim, to at least create a condition when others can achieve it. Then you can start a new sentence. In addition, blah blah blah, right? Because here, customer satisfaction is one thing, and then this is another idea. And so you've smooshed them, the two of them together in one sentence. It's not very clear, right? So I think separate them in two sentences, that's fine. Finally, Bezos advises future entrepreneurs to focus mostly on customer satisfaction and not worry too much about the competition, because that's what he was talking about. Don't worry about competitors, worry about the needs of your customers. Focus on that. You want to put a full stop here, and then this last idea, again, you want to express it more concisely. But overall, you've tried, this is you've used cohesive devices. Even if the reporting words are simple, at least you've used them. And then you go, I'm not sure you've covered everything here, but you've covered a lot of the main ideas. And if you go to the rubric, you'll see that you need to cover 3 or more for maximum points. So I think you've done enough. Just work on the clarity, the precision of the context. We're talking about business success here, right? And make it argumentative, the first sentence, and the last one just more concise. But overall, this is focused enough. Okay, so from next week, we start really working hard on the evidence paragraph. Good luck on the exam, Abel.